right, this is the J&J Show. I'm Joseph Lott.
I'm James Renner.
And today we've got the first podcast, and we're going to be talking about hats in school. And to help us talk about that, we have Mrs. Quigley and Carter McNabb as a student. So I'm going to start it off straight up. I'm going to say, what's your opinion on it? And then I'm going to ask you what your opinion on it, and we're just going to go from there. So what is your opinion on hats in school?
My opinion on hats in school is it shouldn't be worn. It's a safety issue.
All right. Carter, what's your opinion?
I feel like hats in school doesn't really block out anything. I feel like when kids wear hats, it kind of just like, as a part of their clothing, kind of brings out their personality more when they wear a hat.
Okay. All right. So this is my This is my thing about the hats. I've heard both sides of it. We got the code of conduct side, we got the safety side, we got the clothing side, and my personal opinion is that the hats in our school district won't generally harm us that much, just because of, as Ms. Bonell was mentioning, is that we're a very small school. Most teachers know almost anybody, can identify them off of everything, clothing. Like James, he's walking down the hallway, you know what James is wearing off his hair and everything. I get my bright pink Crocs, like you'll know that it's me walking down the hallway if I have a hat on. So the danger part of that, of like someone coming in or not being able to identify them, you could say like I don't recognize those clothing at the same time. So me personally, I'm for the hats, but I don't know. Do you have anything else to say about
Do you want to
Yes.
hear?
Can I show you? So I have a couple of pictures up here. Okay?
All right.
So if there was a crime committed and I have to put out a bolo, you're going to be looking for somebody. I'm going to see over the radio. I want a description of the person. These are questions I would ask. Okay? Is the person female, male? White, black, Hispanic, Asian? Hair color, the style, facial hair, piercings or tattoos, glasses, no glasses, moles, eye color. Okay? Look at those questions. Okay? And this first pick, this is a person from this school. You tell me how many questions you can answer.
Some hat French.
I got to give out a description.
Male? I would say male.
You can't really tell us a guy.
I would say
You
I would
can
say
say-
like, I can say off like the shoulder and like the posture. I would say that's a male.
So that's a guess that it might be male.
Yeah.
Do you think I should give that out as a bolo? We're looking for a male.
Possible. Well, can't you put possible in front of it?
You could put.
Okay, but does that limit it?
No.
Possibly a male?
Well,
Possibly.
Don't we have another camera on the other side of the hallway?
From very far down, you cannot see a face. Hood on, hat on. Remember, bank
That's not
robbers,
stupid.
what do? They put their hat on, they put a hood on, because they don't want you to know their ID. Who's this bad guy?
That's a custodian.
Male.
We'll say
Okay,
custodian.
so you got one question, you say it's a male.
Yeah, male.
How many other description?
Male,
White.
white. I can't say.
Can't really
Can't
see
see the
it.
hair.
Was that Ethan?
Okay, looks
Can't
hair.
see
That's not Ethan. That looks like one of the custodians.
You can't even say he's white.
I would say that's
You
white.
can say he's Asian or Mexican. You can't tell.
I'm just going off of the pink skin tone, but I guess you're fair. I guess we can only answer the male.
Okay, because
thing.
this is what I'm looking at a camera. This is a bad guy, entered the school, committed a crime, and I have to describe to other officers that are coming to the scene who we're looking for. So right now, we might have a male, might be white, might be Hispanic, might be Asian. We got a clothing description,
Yeah.
but if that person ditches the clothing,
And yeah. Then
okay. So now let's look at this picture.
Yeah. Mr. Carr.
Okay, pretty easy. No hat, no hood. You guys said Mr. Carr.
Mr. Carr.
Tell me how many things you can describe right now on that list.
Male, white, black hair,
Facial hair, mustache.
meets for clothing.
I wouldn't say any piercings.
No glasses,
Brown eye color, I'd assume.
facial hair.
Yeah.
So if I'm giving out a description to other patrol officers, I now have white male, short, dark brown hair, mustache, no beard, no glasses, brown eyes, no piercing, no tattoos. Is that a better description than possibly white male or Hispanic or Asian?
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
So, in the debate, are we looking for safety as a priority or fashion?
In a school building, probably safety.
Realistically, yeah, safety. But what's the likelihood that? Well, I was gonna say, what's the likelihood that a unknown person gets into the school, access to the school? Because isn't everybody supposed to come in through the main doors and get through those doors and things like that?
Have we ever seen a student let somebody in the building and they're not supposed to?
We have.
Yeah.
So,
I guess, yeah. That's
safety is my number one
Yeah.
priority, and if you have somebody like that amongst a crowd, I'm definitely not going to be able to identify the person.
all right. So
My opinion is that like somebody should be allowed to wear like a beanie or a like backwards hat, because I mean you can still see their face probably.
So you
More
have
than
that
likely.
argument. How do you write that up in a code of conduct?
really can't.
It's very hard.
But at the same time, that person has both his hood and hat up, and he's already looking particularly suspicious in the way he's walking. And I do agree that if someone is like someone dropping a bag, anything like that, that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna look away from the cameras, keep their head down, not know what they're doing. But I don't feel like a student would necessarily. There's no backpack there. There's nothing yielding that it's necessarily a student, and I feel like we should be able to identify this suspicious person before, because like just the whole everything that's going on. I feel.
Do you
like.
think a bad guy's going to hang out in the school for a long period of time?
No, I think it's
No,
gonna be
once
in and
gets
out,
in,
but
it's-
Once he comes in, does what he's got to do and leaves. So how much do you think that people are going to be looking to identify this person from different angles and go, ooh, this person looks suspicious? By the time you relay that information to the office, do you think the bad deed was already done?
Probably.
well, yeah, but couldn't you just go out? You could say the same thing about like a kid could just let a person in with the same way, and, like anybody, and at that point the bad deed's already done, even if you do identify the person.
So we try, but, okay, at this point in time though, okay, now as a police officer, I have to convict somebody.
Yes. Can't convict someone off of that.
You guys were able to identify the person when you could give a description. So if I give out that description, an officer sees somebody leaving from the school and they fit that description, guess what? We now have a camera view of a person and say, does that fit this person's ID? You know, this, I could have any of you guys standing in front of me and I could say, it might be you, or you. That other picture, I could definitely say, I know it's not you, I know it's not you, I know it's not you, I know it's not you.
Alright. That's fair.
And when I have to do a conviction, I want to make sure if somebody came in here and harmed somebody or did some act that was illegal, that we could actually convict the person. And that way, they're not roaming free to do it to somebody else.
Fair. Oh, well, here's my question on this also.
Okay.
So, there's lots of talk of the code of conduct needing to be changed, and hats may or may not be on that changing route. So, if hats do become an aspect of school being allowed to wear, how are you going to go? How are you going to go about your job in that aspect? Are you just going to accept it and make it harder, or like what would you have to do to be able to do something like this?
The code of conduct is a school rule. I'm not going to say, listen, I don't care what the school rule says. This
Right.
is what I want. No, I'm here as a police officer in the school. My job is not to enforce the code of conduct, okay? That is up to school officials. So if they say hats are going to be worn, hats are going to be worn.
And at that point, you just have to accept the fact that it's a lot harder to identify
Correct.
somebody.
Now, like, you asked me the question of my opinion on it. Will it change my opinion? Absolutely not. I'm still gonna say, for safety purposes, I don't think we should wear hats. But if the school says it's allowed, it's allowed.
You have anything to say about that, Carter?
I mean, I kind of see it from the safety point of view that, like, it's a big thing for, like, making sure all the kids stay safe, making sure no one comes in suspicious. I see that point of view. But, like, at the same exact time, like, I've seen, like, obviously, me, Kyler, and all of them wear hats. Like, we've had teachers, like, barely know who we are without our hats on. Because, like, they're so used to seeing us with hats that they don't understand who we are without them. So now it's, like, a big thing is, like, if some teachers can only identify us with our hats on, like, it's kind of hard for them to even do anything. So, like, they don't really know who we are. Like, it's like I've had, like, Miss Mullen a couple times is, like, not knowing who Wyatt Millen was when he walked into the classroom because he doesn't have a hat on.
And I'm not a teacher, but I would say, when my kids went here, one of the issues I had during COVID was when we were first coming back, was saying, my kids were like, do I have to go back? I told them yes, as a parent, only because this right now, I mean, even shows, like, everyone's eyes are on each other. This is how I know you're listening. This is how I know if you're understanding. Teachers are the same way. If you have a hat on, it's a lot easier to disguise if you're not understanding something. And a teacher's there to help you. And I said to my kids, over Zoom, it's really difficult for teachers to see a person and understand if they're actually picking up what they're learning. There's, like, nonverbal cues, like you just gave me. Oh yeah, I'm listening. You're shaking your head. Can't see that. These are things that teachers are picking up on. Also, if somebody's having a medical issue, a teacher in a classroom is going to all of a sudden see that, say, you're having a medical issue, pupils end up going very small. You have a blank stare. You're, like, looking off into the space, and the teacher's like, hello. You're wearing a hat. You know what? You put your head down, that teacher's never going to see any of those things.
I agree with that, and with a larger school district, that makes more sense. Like, if we had more kids per class in each classroom, but I feel that with most of the classrooms, we have not that many kids in each class, and most of the time, anyways, the teacher is gonna like with me personally, if I don't wear hats at all, I do have my hood up once in a while, but I'll be like this or put my head down. Teacher's gonna say, he's like, yo, but it's like the same thing with the hat. Like, if I have a hat on, doesn't change it. My head's still down. You can still tell. And if I have my head up and listen like this, and like you said, I start blank. My hat isn't covering the face right here. If I'm still paying attention widely, like, because right here, if I'm looking at you and I have my hat on, and then I start going like, whoa, like that. And even if I do start to like dip my head, then that's just like, at that point, that's like, I'm like this. I feel that it's a big enough body cue to where the teacher would be like, all right, something's wrong with him or something like that. And also in the aspect of what he was saying, that if we go back to like the intruder thing, that the intruder's gonna wear stuff like that anyways, right? He's probably gonna conceal his face anyways. He's going in a place with cameras anyways, no matter what. And that as it is now, it's already hard enough to like police it with hats and hoods and all the other stuff. And as we were just talking about now, like splitting the hairs, do-rags, beanies, like all this fun stuff that people wear in their heads, their heads and everything like that. So it's already hard enough to police it. Some teachers have given up on it. Like, some teachers just don't even do it. So the fact that so many people already are wearing it like that, and as Carter says, now that that's become his personality like that, teachers know him better with his hat on than with his hat off. And that if all these kids are just they're going to be wearing their hats anyways. So why police it if they're just going to, like, in my opinion, the intruder's going to be wearing whatever he's going to wear no matter what.
Okay,
so if he's coming in, he's coming in.
So
And
on that, if kids are doing it and everybody's doing it, why police it? Okay, so if everyone wants to leave the parking lot at 50 miles an hour, even though the speed limit is 10, should we just allow it
no.
just because everyone's doing it? Or should somebody be saying, hold on, this is dangerous, not a good idea? So just because people do it doesn't always make it a great idea. And sometimes that's where adults have to say, no, we're not going to do that.
Right.
So
Well,
I completely understand, though. It
Yeah.
does. It's fashion. It's personality. There is points, 100%. Can you wear a hat outside of school and it still be your personality? 100%. Do you need a hat to learn? No. Do you have to be fashionable to learn? And are we in here to learn or be fashionable?
But you gotta remember also, it's like we're here 8 hours of the day, and this has been our life since majority of our life. So like in my way of looking at it, this is how my day is. I'm at school. That's my day, and I got basketball practice right after school. Like this is also at the same time, yes, it's school, but it's also social. Like this is where I'm coming to see my friends, everybody I know. Like I don't, in my opinion, this is public. Like I wouldn't come here with just my underwear on, like I'm sitting at home or anything like that. Like I present myself in the way I like to be seen, because this is a public place in school and there's people here
Yeah.
like that. So and that aspect, yes, this is a place to be, like we're here to learn, school, everything like that. But at the same time, it is a social aspect of it that, in my opinion, as a student here, that's like I'm also gonna come to wear like nice. Like if you look at you can't see the James, but if you look at James, he's wearing an out.
I was gonna say.
He's wearing an outfit. He's got the shoes to match the
Everything
sweatshirt,
to
to match the
match.
pants, like that. Like that's his personality. That's what he likes to wear.
Gotcha.
And like in Carter's, that's his hat. His hat, not his hat doesn't necessarily match his outfit. In this, particularly
It
the
matches
the
his
stance.
bracelet.
Well, no, it matches my outfit. Back of the hoodie.
Oh, that's
Oh,
my bad.
see?
I didn't see the back. Well, yeah, I guess the back of the hoodie. But it's like also the social aspect of some people are seen through expressing themselves through their clothes, and as going off the safety aspect, that's certain places is not allowed. Like you go to airports like that. Like those are places you just can't be.
We want you to be safe.
Right.
Airports.
And this is a
schools.
safe. This is a schools have bet schools are one of those places you want to be safe.
Yes. Not everyone thinks the same. So sometimes we have the arguments that people go, it's not that big of a deal. You know, I wear similar outfits. And I get it, and I understand, but we all have different views. Like, you guys are coming
Right.
at it from students in fashion, and like, this is our personalities. And where am I looking at it from? I'm looking at it from law enforcement and because my whole job here is to keep you guys
Yeah.
safe.
Right.
You know, and so we have just two different perspectives on the same thing.
I just feel like, especially with hats, like a big thing with hats, like I know, like me personally, like me, Kyler, Ryan, like Wyatt, it kind of becomes muscle memory for us. Like we wake up in the morning, we shower, we put on a hat. And then,
Okay,
like,
good point.
we have a hat on all day until like 20 minutes before we go to bed, and then we take our hat off.
Muscle memory. You guys, the whole point of school is to make you successful, right?
Yeah.
So when you become a grown adult, you're successful. And how many jobs would you go to an interview and wear a hat to?
Me personally,
I've shown up to all of mine in hats.
Okay?
no. I just
How
don't wear
about
hats.
a profession? If you wanted to become a teacher, would you go to that job interview with a hat on?
I'd probably walk in with a hat on, but then I would take it off before the
For
interview.
the interview. And if it's muscle memory, are you gonna remember to take it off?
Probably not.
If you are a doctor or in the military or an engineer, think of businesses that you would walk into. Muscle memory is huge. I mean, we rely on that all the time in law enforcement. And if you do something every day, it becomes a habit. It's muscle memory. So if you are saying your muscle memory is to put a hat on, is there situations you're not going to want to wear your hat?
All right. What is your opinion on the rule of hats or no hats in school?
So my opinion is that I'm okay with them if the code of conduct says that they're okay. So I want an overhaul of the code of conduct, and we'll see where that takes us. But I came from a place where hats were okay, so it doesn't really bother me too much.
My personal opinion on this, coming from a district where we actually took that out of the code of conduct and we allow hats now, I don't personally have a problem with students wearing hats in school as long as it doesn't take away from the educational setting. And so what I mean by that is if students are wearing hats or something that is either that's causing a disruption in the classroom or is causing issues with other students, and let's say that they're wearing something that's inappropriate, those kind of things really we couldn't tolerate. So if it was disrupting things, then certainly I think that staff would have the right to ask that to be removed. But personally, I think most of the time, hats don't really impact the learning environment at all. And so if that's something that were to change in our policy, then I think that it would probably work really well, but that would require a lot a lot of work to get that changed in the policy.
And how does the code of conduct get that overhaul to where hats are allowed?
So we would have to do some kind of meeting where we have everybody come together, stakeholder groups, so groups of people from community, people from the building, kids, all of them, and see what are the things that maybe have been in the code of conduct a long time and maybe need reconsideration, or are there things that we need to add that we didn't think about before?
All right, that's the J&J Show. Peace.